We're live. Good day, Ohio Cannabis Report family. It's your boy Gerald Moore Jr. Happy Thursday. Another great day in Ohio with some breaking news coming out of the Ohio State House from Governor Mike Dewine. So we're gonna sit here and watch Dewine's press conference as he just released an executive order to basically get hemp products off the shelves of CBD shops, gas stations, things of that nature. So um, I didn't get a chance to watch the actual press conference. I've seen some of the articles, um, but we'll see what he actually had to say, and then we'll go over it. So I'm going to share my screen. Again, happy Thursday. It's early. Um, I'm a little tired. Me and my family had a gala last night for our son Miles and a lot of different community members and organizations that focus on stillbirth awareness, bereavement care, infant mortality, maternal mortality, and family issues dealing with child and infant loss. So, first, I want to thank everybody who came out to support my family. It means the world to us. It means the world to me. It's still, a lot of it's still overwhelming for me. But thankful to my in-laws and obviously my wife and my family for their constant dedication to the mission. Um, and obviously, our goal is to just spread more awareness and provide more resources to families that are grieving and families that have dealt with loss. So, um, again, this is why I'm also passionate about cannabis because, cannabis has become something that has truly helped me in my grieving process and just life in general. Um, I just want to share that with the world because I know there's a lot of people dealing with pain, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. And a lot of us go to different things, right? There's a lot of different alternatives that you can go to, a lot of different drugs you can go to, a lot of different activities you can go to. And it's essential that we find the right mix for us, the right concoction for us. So for me, again, cannabis isn't the only thing, right? Like it's part of the solution. You have to find what works for you. I'm a faith-filled person, so I lean on my faith, prayer, community. I lean on exercise. I lean on trying to take care of my body and my mental health through therapy, through talk therapy, through exercise, and eating a nutritious diet. And so I think it's very important that we understand that it's not one thing fix all, right? A lot of times, some people just lean on one thing and think that's supposed to heal everything. Some people lean on cannabis. Some people lean on, a lot of different things. Some people lean on alcohol. Some people lean on prescription pills and things like that. So I think it's important. The reason I started this channel was one to help end the stigma by creating awareness, sharing stories and information about, how cannabis can help people, how cannabis is helping people, because there's been such a negative stigma behind cannabis for the last 60 plus years with a lot of just negative information, false information, half truths, or just blatant lies, right? So I think it's important, especially when you have situations like this where the governor is, demonizing um, a group of people, products, and ruining businesses as well. So let's go ahead and dive in. I'm going to share my screen. Also, before I get started, please make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're on Instagram at Ohio_cannabis_report. As our backup page, it's our main page right now until I can get back into our main page at Ohio Cannabis Report. We're also on Facebook. We're also on Substack. I have a Patreon as well that I'm focusing on getting back up and running. And we also have a podcast. So we're trying to hit you guys in all different forms of content. So please support. Again, I do this out the kindness of my heart and also just out of my own pocket. So, the production is just what it is. So we appreciate all of our 100 subscribers on our YouTube channel. We appreciate our followers on Instagram and all other platforms. And thank you guys for the support. So again, and then also, if you guys ever have a chance, go check out Courage and Cannabis. You can purchase this on Amazon. We have an ebook, or you can purchase a paperback copy. This is a book that I'm featured in called Courage and Cannabis: The Triumphant Stories by Dr. Bridget Williams. Dr. Bridget Williams is a board certified doctor here in Ohio. She can also recommend you a medical card, even though I know some people are there's been a decrease in medical cards, but there is some benefit to getting a medical card. You pay a little bit less for your bud if you're going to the dispensary. So check out this book again, Courage and Cannabis. It's a and it's an anthology, so there's about 30 plus different authors. Here's my chapter. Mike Tyson wrote a quote, and one of the CEO of Mike Tyson 2.0 or Tyson 2.0 wrote the foreword. So great opportunity to, if you're interested in more stories. I mean, this is a very eclectic book, a very diverse book of diverse stories, all different people, all different age ranges, all different careers, career paths, all different people who have come in contact with cannabis, the cannabis plant, in a lot of different ways. So if you have a chance, if you're a reader, please check that out and support. I will greatly appreciate it. All right, let me go ahead and share my screen. And so I'm sharing this. This is all public information. If you want to check this out on yourself, if you're an Ohio resident, I encourage you to constantly be on the Ohio channel. They basically have a live feed. So anytime that they have anything in session, any type of meetings, they are live on this page. And so if you can't make it to the State House, if you're not in the city of Columbus, which obviously the State House is in the city of Columbus, you can watch these things. And what they help you do is to understand what's going on, what laws, what bills are being passed, introduced at the State House, so you can hold your politicians accountable. And I know a lot of us get caught up in the federal politics, what Trump's doing, but the state level matters, right? The state gets federal funding. The state allocates resources and funds to nonprofits, for-profits, private companies, for a lot of different things. So it's essential that people understand what's going on at the political level, at the state level. So just to go over, this was yesterday. Dewine had a press conference announcing new actions regarding intoxicating hemp.
Well, we're here today to discuss the issue of intoxicating hemp. It's really become a problem in Ohio. It's become a problem across the country. Maybe just a little history to kind of set the stage, though. Several years ago, Congress passed the Agricultural Improvement Act of 2018. This is also known as the 2018 Farm Bill. Among the bill's most notable provisions was the federal legalization of hemp. At that time, the hemp advocates touted several uses for hemp. New industrial and food uses that could make hemp a potential cash crop for interested farmers. And that's how it was also sold here in the state of Ohio. Unlike marijuana, hemp has very low levels of THC by definition. THC, of course, is the psychoactive compound found in marijuana. The same similar change was made in the Ohio law. The 133rd General Assembly passed Senate Bill 57 in 2019. This decriminalized hemp and established hemp cultivation licenses in the state of Ohio, again for generally the same purported reasons. While hemp and marijuana are both cannabis, federal and state law differentiated hemp and marijuana by their THC content. That was the difference. That's how it's defined. with hemp being below 0.3% THC, zero point 0.3. Now, after these laws were passed, chemists began manipulating compounds in the legal non-intoxicating hemp plant, turning these compounds into intoxicating THC, including delta 8 and delta 9, which are, of course, found in marijuana. These products made from intoxicating hemp, as we know, are not regulated and they're not tested. Next, State Issue 2 was passed by the Ohio voters in 2023.
I'm gonna pause it right there real quick. I'm gonna come back on the stage. So he just said that these products aren't tested. Okay. So we have a legal medical cannabis program, an adult use and recreational program where they do test products, but testing is not transparent. You don't get to see, you know what I mean, the data from the test after the cultivator or processor sends it to the lab. There's been known to be remediated cannabis, that the cannabis could have been grown, dried, and then mold. And then they put that cannabis through a process that remediates that weed. You know what I mean? So it's a legal industry. The state is making money off of the taxes. And it's a tested and regulated product, but the quality isn't the best. And we don't know the true test results. You know what I mean? We don't know if it's been put through this process of remediation because it's not on packaging. I believe if a product has been remediated, that product should say, when you go to the dispensary or you look online at a dispensary, it should say, hey, in some type of detail, this product has been remediated. When you go to purchase it, the bud tender should tell you, hey, this flower that you're purchasing has been remediated. What is remediation? We need to know. Why isn't the state educating its citizens? Right? You got a multi-billion-dollar industry, and there's no education coming from the state level. There's no education coming from the business level. There's no education coming from the university level. So I'll go ahead and continue the video. But it's just something to be aware of, be privy of, right? Because if you're going to come out and say, well, they try to use this, oh, well, these things aren't tested, they're marketing them to children, our children are getting a hold of them, it's bogus. One, we know that OCAN, which is operated and supported by the majority of a lot of these MSOs and people who are multimillionaires who have big investments, who've been able to corner the market and monopolize the Ohio cannabis market, they want to squeeze out these hemp companies because there are people that are running dispensaries, but they're selling hemp. They're selling Delta 8, Delta 9. You have the head shops, you have gas stations, X, Y, and Z. So I think it's important for people to understand that this is a whole thing. They want to drive more traffic to the dispensaries. They don't want people going to get hemp products from these fake dispensaries or these gas stations, right? Or head shops or whatever. So just be mindful of that. Like these politicians, you have to understand the way they talk and why they use certain things. Like, why do they always bring up children? But then the whole time, Ohio is one of the largest sex trafficking, human trafficking places in the world. Jeffrey Epstein and Les Wessner was perusing through here. Guns is an issue. Domestic violence is an issue. Alcoholism is an issue. Mental health is an issue. But we want to come after cannabis. Like it's insane. So I'll go ahead and continue. I apologize. I'm very passionate about this. And I know people who are in the industry, who own businesses, who will be impacted by this. I also work with App Girls Cannabis, who obviously is a hemp-derived THC drink, which is going to be impacted. because again, we sell our beverages in bars, restaurants, and stores.
Provide, of course, for the regulation and the legal sale through dispensaries of marijuana in the state of Ohio. Shortly after that, intoxicating hemp began to appear in stores across the state of Ohio. As marijuana was now legal, these new intoxicating hemp products were marketed very similarly to marijuana, but without, of course, any state
You
regulation.
can't even market marijuana.
The
You
marijuana
can't market
laws
it. There's no
that were
marketing.
approved by Ohio voters created a highly regulated market. These laws limit where products can be sold and who can buy them. By age, of course, limited. Marijuana laws require very rigorous product testing and ensure that packaging does not target children. However,
It's
for
cool
intoxicating hemp, this product has no restrictions on where it can
candy
be sold
companies, though.
or who can buy it.
toy companies.
Intoxicating hemp has no required regulatory testing at all, and is sold in packages enticing to children, many times mimicking the packaging of common candies.
Yeah, and candies aren't good for
See the
children.
display
The
here
amount of sugar, high
to my
fructose corn
left.
syrup.
The General Assembly
Come on,
has
man.
introduced several bills
It shows you
to
how
try
stupid they
to restrict the sale of intoxicating
And
hemp
Ohio's
products.
like terrible in health
Senate
and
Bill
education.
326 was introduced in 2024 to address this issue late in the 135th General Assembly. And work has continued on it as Senate Bill 56, in this current General Assembly. Senate Bill 56 passed the Senate in February. It's pending in the House. While the General
Got a
Assembly
snotty
continues to
nose.
work on this important legislation, I am taking action today under my authority as governor of the state of Ohio to get these products off the streets and to have them taken off our shelves. Intoxicating hemp is dangerous, and we need better to protect our children.
It's not
And
dangerous.
because of that fact, I've signed a few moments ago several different orders, which I will now talk about. But first, a few facts. According to data from the Ohio Poison Control Center, exposure to Delta 8 and Delta 9 among those 19 years of age and younger has increased well over 200% in the past few years, from 419 recorded exposures in 2021 to 994 recorded exposures in 2024, a dramatic change. What's worse, the
It's not
majority
even
of
that
those
many people,
exposures
honestly.
are
Like,
our
you have
younger
a state of
children,
11.8 million
those
people.
5 and under. The exposures in this age group went up even more dramatically.
And also, this is a
Exposures in this
parental
age
issue.
group
This
nearly
isn't
tripled,
the hemp,
from
right? Like, it's a
202
parental issue.
recorded
How are your kids
cases
getting
in
access to hemp?
2021 to 555 recorded cases in 2024. And again, I would stress, those are only the ones we know. Those are the only ones that there's been a report on. 90% of recorded exposures among those 12 and younger resulted in a trip to the emergency room. Around 2/3 of these cases actually required hospitalization. Looking at the samples that you see here, I think it's pretty easy to see why kids are enticed to them. It's easy to see why they're enticed into ingesting this intoxicating hemp.
Man,
All
like-
these were purchased here in Franklin County within the last 48 hours. And there are plenty of places to purchase them.
Like, to
So let's look
use
at the
the
pink
flour, you would
packages
have
on
to grind
display.
it up, put it in a joint, and smoke it, or put it in a bowl and smoke it. So, how
One
many
is of the
kids?
popular
Like,
Nerds gummy cluster
then
candy.
how?
And
We're
the
talking
other is
about
a Delta
19-year-olds,
8
but
product
18-year-olds
called
can go to war?
Medicated Nerdy Bears. As you can see, the Delta 8 product uses packaging with identical design elements
No,
to the
wait, lady
actual
behind
Nerds
them.
candy,
Like, I don't know.
down to using the registered trademark cartoon nerd character
They put up-
images. According to the packaging, each gummy bear contains 5 adult servings of THC, with each gummy bear containing more than 100 milligrams of THC.
And
For
it's crazy, like the
context, many
candy
adult
not
use
even good for
products
kids, bro.
contain
Like, we
10
should be
milligrams of
teaching
THC
kids to
per
not be
serving.
eating candy.
It certainly is easy to
guess
see
what?
how a child will confuse this
Cavities.
Delta-8 product with real candy, and if they
State
eat a
is
few
so
gummy
fucking
bears,
backwards,
ingest
man.
enough THC to require hospitalization. If you look at these, I think it's pretty easy to see. This is the candy. And this is the intoxicating hemp. Designed clearly to mimic candy. Designed clearly to entice children to consume these. Keep in mind that these are being sold and there is no check. There's no check on age. Anyone can walk in and buy one of these. And then you have
I
to
ain't
look
never
at
seen
it
that
a
shit.
little more carefully. Medic 8ED, Nerdy Bears. Here's what it says. Nerdy Bears are a sweet, shareable treat with a generous amount of Delta-8 that will knock you off your feet. The fruity gummy center is surrounded by tangy, crunchy colored candy. Super potent formula. And then, of course, it says, keep out of the reach of children. And yet that's how it's.
Keep out of reach of children. Like, the candy isn't good for children either. Like, Ohio's one of the most unhealthy states in the country, man.
Let's look
If
at
you
the
see
blue and
people
gold
in
package
Ohio,
on
they
display.
teeth all rotted out. The kids' mouse is all rotted
The
out.
blue and gold
Kids have
package on
cavities.
display calls itself Stoner Patch
I'm a healthcare professional, by the
Dummies.
way. I mean,
Stoner
I have
Patch Dummies. A clear knockoff of the popular Sour Patch Kids. While not identical,
I have a degree in healthcare.
like the Nerds
by the way.
example, you can see the words are certainly markedly similar. Unlike the Nerdy Bears, this product contains no disclosure of THC content beyond there being 500 milligrams of THC in the package,
I'm a
with
speed
5
teacher,
gummies in the
that's-
package. This
Speed
is,
teacher.
again, 100 milligrams of THC per candy. This package ironically has a warning to consumers, urging cannabis users to start with single-serving products for safety. Despite that, each gummy has at least 5 servings apiece. So one piece has got 5 servings in it. Again, something that's a real problem in regard to children. Sour then sweet. Sour Patch Kids. There it is. That ends up in a lunchroom. What do you think kids would do with it?
That's Sour Patches, my boy.
Join our crew. Sour, sweet, gone. Finally, we have Gushers. Last set of examples on display is a product called Sour Infused Gushers. Again, a clear knockoff of the popular Gushers brand of fruit snacks, which are sold in several sour flavor
Doesn't
varieties.
use real fruit.
Packaging is similar, again showing how easily a child might confuse this product with legitimate fruit snacks. And again, this 500 milligram package contains 5 pieces, making each piece, showing that each piece has 100 milligrams of THC. This product doesn't even list the manufacturer or its ingredients. So I think the danger to our children is clear, and I'm taking action today to protect Ohio's children. These children are vulnerable to these potent knockoff products that are on sale today across the state of Ohio. Earlier today, in fact just a few minutes ago, I signed an executive order that does 2 things. Let me go through this. First, the executive order changes the definition of hemp and hemp products in the Ohio Administrative Code. When Ohio legalized hemp in 2019, it was not the intention of the legislature to legalize an unregulated product that can harm our children. That was never what the legislature intended. Effective October 14th, 2025. This order gives the Ohio Department of Agriculture the authority to exclude intoxicating hemp from the definition of legal hemp in Ohio. It is a fundamentally different product, altered, very, very different than hemp. No one ever, when the argument was made to legalize hemp, was anticipating intoxicating hemp. That's not what the legislature intended. That is not what Congress intended. That's not what was told to the public.
That's what we knew.
This will
though.
clarify in
we
administrative
knew
law that
what
intoxicating
was,
hemp is not hemp. It is rather an adulterated product. To say another way, because hemp was modified to create intoxicating hemp is simply no longer hemp. When this order goes into effect on Tuesday, intoxicating hemp products will be illegal under the administrative law. The process to change rules in the administrative code typically takes several months. But under the governor's long-standing emergency rule authority, This change can be authorized sooner, so it is in effect while the regular rulemaking process goes ahead and takes place. So that's the first thing that this order does. Second, the order declares an adulterated consumer product emergency in the state of Ohio. An adulterated consumer emergency in regard to intoxicating hemp products, requiring all retailers to get these products off their shelves. By law, the governor has the authority to declare a consumer product safety emergency if there is reason to believe that a product has been adulterated and presents a threat to public safety and health. The order gives retailers until Tuesday, October 14th, 2025, to remove items containing intoxicating hemp from their shelves and cease all sales. After that, local and state authorities, including our Ohio Department of Agriculture, will have the power to seize these products. Those who violate this order could also be subject to a fine of $500 per day while the product remains on sale. This consumer product safety emergency will last 90 days. After that, according to Ohio law, it's under the authority of the General Assembly to let the emergency order expire or to extend it. Now, to be clear, this does not apply to non-intoxicating hemp products that were legalized by the General Assembly in 2019. Doesn't affect them at all. Nor does this impact legal marijuana legally sold in licensed dispensaries across the state of Ohio. Does not affect that. This is specifically aimed at synthetic intoxicating hemp products that can be sold to kids, has no quality control, and are simply dangerous. In closing, I want to again make it very clear in comparing what the voters passed in legalizing marijuana and the situation today in regard to intoxicating hemp. And they're very, very different. The law passed by the voters in regard to marijuana limits where marijuana can be sold. To buy marijuana, a person must visit a licensed, regulated dispensary in the state of Ohio. Intoxicating hemp, on the other hand, is now being sold everywhere. And there are today on the books no limits to where it can be sold. Number two, when someone goes to a licensed marijuana dispensary, they must be 21 years of age or older to buy the marijuana. Anyone of any age can buy these products. Anyone of any age can buy intoxicating hemp. Number three, Ohio voters voted to require rigorous product testing and product labeling for marijuana. Again, intoxicating hemp is being sold in Ohio. This is being sold in Ohio today has not been tested to determine its true THC content. And even if a product lists any content information at all, we still have absolutely no idea what the packaging says, if what the packaging says is actually accurate. Number four, Ohio marijuana laws are strict when it comes to advertising. Marijuana cannot be marketed to kids, and it can't be in packages that makes it look like candy. Intoxicating hemp, on the other hand, can and does look like candy, and they do it on purpose. They do it to attract kids. Let me now introduce Dr. Hannah Hayes, Medical Director of the Central Ohio Poison Center at Nationwide Children's Hospital. She will further discuss the impact of intoxicating hemp on kids, and she'll talk about what she is seeing in that position that she holds. Doctor?
Thank you, Governor Dewine. Thank you for inviting us to share insights on how intoxicating hemp products are affecting Ohio's children and how our poison control operations are responding to these emerging challenges. My name is Dr. Hannah Hayes, and I'm the Medical Director and Chief of Toxicology at the Central Ohio Poison Center located at Nationwide Children's Hospital in Columbus. I'm here today on behalf of the Ohio Children's Hospital Association, the voice of Ohio's children and families, united by a shared vision that Ohio will be the best place for child health. Since intoxicating hemp products such as Delta 8 became widely available, the number of accidental poisonings among children has risen sharply. Poison control centers first began tracking these exposures in 2021. And since that time, Delta 8 THC exposures in Ohio's children aged 12 years and younger have risen sharply. Among children under 6 years old, exposures rose more than 330%, and among children aged 6 to 12, exposures rose 550%. And although we've seen a modest decline in 2025, exposures remain unacceptably high. The effects of these products on young children are not benign. According to a study that my colleagues and I published analyzing more than 5,000 exposures to Delta 8, Delta 10, and THC acetate reported to America's Poison Centers in 2021 and 2022, children who ingest them can experience drowsiness, hallucinations, confusion, loss of consciousness, seizures, and even respiratory failure. And I myself recently published a case study with colleagues of mine describing a child that we took care of with recurrent seizures after exposure to these products. We see this often, and these children come in drowsy and they can be very sick. My colleagues and I published another study last month showing that ingestion of just a few serving sizes of these products, so 1 or 2 of these products that were pointed out earlier, is enough to place children in the highest risk quartile in terms of the risk of severe toxicity and the development of prolonged toxicity, which requires hospital admission. Ohio poison data demonstrates that 90% of exposures to children under 6 receive emergency department care, and about 2/3 are hospitalized for continued monitoring and treatment, such as monitoring of their mental status to make sure they're not getting too drowsy and developing coma, or monitoring a child for continued worsening and need for being placed on a ventilator to support breathing. And the same pattern holds true for children aged 6 to 12 years. So these intoxicating hemp products pose a serious and preventable threat to child health. And supporting a ban on intoxicating hemp products is a critical step in preventing future poisonings, protecting Ohio's children, and ensuring that our state truly becomes the best place for children's health. Thank you, Governor.
Doctor, thank you very much. Let me now introduce Sheriff Vern Stanford. He's representing the Buckeye Sheriff's Association to talk about what they've been experiencing across the state from a law enforcement perspective. Sheriff?
Thank you. Thank you, Governor, and thank you, Dr. Hayes. I was so fortunate to have met Dr. Hayes in the hallway, and we talked briefly. She's got a lot of information that I was seeking, that I didn't know was out there. Now I know it's there because we're seeing that, the effects of gummies on our streets all across Ohio. When we start seeing the volume of our children who are, life squad is being called to treat them for seizures, and you're thinking, how many, this is an abnormal number of seizures we're having, and we have to have a reason, and I think her studies is showing some of the reason. I want to take you back a couple years ago when I was a kid. So more than 60 years ago on the playground of my elementary school, we thought that it was really neat to go in the back of the ball diamond and chew tobacco. And if you ever seen a plug of tobacco, it's not very appealing. It's literally just a plug of brown cluster of squished up leaves, and you're supposed to put that in your mouth and chew on it. And for some reason, people thought that was a good idea. The first time I was ever exposed to chewing tobacco, we had a row of kids my age, and the first one, he brought the tobacco from his father's supply, and they started taking a bite off of that tobacco, and they would chew it. And by the time it got to me, the first kid was green and throwing up. Well, needless to say, I've never tried tobacco in my life. That cured me forever. But that was a simpler time, and it was chewing tobacco. I knew what it was. Our kids today have a different challenge, and gummies is a challenge that's so attractive to a 10, 11, 12-year-old that they're going to sit on the playground. Someone's going to bring this package with them in their book bag because they could legally stop at the corner market and buy this, take it to school, go on the ball field, hide from the teachers, and share this. And the first kid may not turn green and throw up before all the kids have consumed one of these. And now we're having some child is having an adverse effect, falling over into a seizure. I get called to that playground with a child in a seizure. And this because of gummies. So it's really something that that's affecting our children. And I applaud the governor, and I will applaud the state legislature and encourage them to take more action to get this regulated. It's intoxicating, and that word intoxicating is there for a purpose. You know, it's all recognized as an intoxicating hemp. We're not asking about people chewing on a hemp rope and getting high. We're talking about something that has been adulterated, and it's made to look like a candy that the child, right beside the next candy, that is a good candy, and then we have the intoxicating hemp candy. So I applaud the governor for taking this action, and encourage our legislatures to take more aggressive action in passing legislation to get this off of the counters across our stores and put it where it needs to be in the dispensaries where it can be regulated and sold by professionals. Thank you.
Thanks, Sheriff. Appreciate it very much. Questions?
Previously, you've said that you could not sign an executive order about hemp. What has changed?
Well, I asked our lawyers to go back and take a look at it, and they've come to the conclusion that we certainly have the power to do the two things that we're doing today. That's it. We believe we have the power to do that, and this crisis is continuing to get worse and worse. And I'm not going to sit by and let this continue.
Governor, make a case for these candies and how they look like, stuff you get at the local Target or what have you. But what about the differentiation of beverages being sold at beer and wine shops or tap rooms or whatever, where people only 21 and up are going anyway? Why not? Why throw out all of the products all at once?
Well, what's being sold as far as alcohol it's been regulated historically in the state of Ohio. We regulate it. The person who is serving that beer, can lose their license if they're serving to a minor. That's the difference. I mean, these are designed to appeal to minors, and there's nothing under the current law before the executive order for law enforcement to enforce this or to any way stop any kind of convenience store, any place from selling it to a 15-year-old. We have an example of that occurred last year.
No, my point is that there are beer and wine shops that also sell THC-infused beverages that don't look anything like candy. They're not appealing to children. And there's a lot of retailers and shops they've invested a lot in their inventory, and this order puts them they're kind of stuck with a lot of product.
Well, again, this is we're doing this. We believe this is the right thing to do.
We believe
that hemp.
You?
The decision was made by the legislature and by Congress to legalize hemp. It was never a thought that we would see chemists who would change this into intoxicating hemp. It's a totally different product.
Governor, I hear you call this product dangerous. I did not hear you call it deadly. However, you said kratom has been linked to deaths. Why take this action today on intoxicating hemp, yet prompt the suspension of the pharmacy board vote to ban kratom?
You'll hear more from me in regard to that. This is what we're doing today. We'll do that in a future day.
Are you saying that when you go back to Kratom, what can we expect? from that?
We're going back to that issue. I can guarantee you.
Is there a little
You know me pretty well. We're not giving up on that issue. We're going to be back on that issue.
Morgan,
And I want to go back to if I could, just a moment. Doctor, you want to address, because you had, I think it seemed to be a second question about whether this is lethal or not. Do you want to describe how sick kids get from this?
Yeah, I'm not here to say that we're having a lot of childhood deaths from exposure to these products. We did have one childhood death in our study that I mentioned earlier. It's more of the clinical effects on children that are serious and prolonged, requiring hospitalization. It's in addition to the morbidity that it's causing children. It's scary for families. They have to pick up their children during the exposure, bring them in. That's inconvenient. They're sick. That's terrible.
How did the
and
kids
then,
get it?
They're subject to
though?
some
Like,
questioning to
isn't
try to
this
figure out what's going on, and there's
parental
guilt and shame
issue?
associated with that, and that's not good for families either. And so for all those reasons, that's why we'd really like to curb childhood exposure to these products.
You first told us you couldn't do anything about this by executive order in January 2024. So I want to confirm it took your lawyers until October 2025 to decide that you could do something about this by executive order. And what happens when Jacob blocks this?
Well, you're assuming something.
I have two senators who told me they believe that you
Well-
do not have the authority to do this.
Well, if they really believe that, and if they want to save children's lives, or not lives, but if they want to save kids having damage
What
from
about
this, they can
guns,
take action
bro?
as well. But we
Alcohol.
believe we have the authority to do this, and I'm not going to sit back and not do it. I went back to my lawyers, and I said, this is a problem that continues to get worse. It is absolutely absurd that
What about
a
all these
14-year-old,
data
13-year-old
centers
walking
coming
the
up,
store
taking up
and
all
buy
the
this
energy
stuff.
in the water?
It's never
What
what
about all that?
anybody intended when the hemp law was passed. It wasn't what the legislature intended.
gosh.
I don't think you'll find one legislator who will tell you that it was intended. So yeah, I went back to our lawyers and I said, look at, see if we have power to do this. Take another look at this.
Yeah,
And they
your
came back and
lawyer's
said,
about to
yes,
get you
we
sued,
believe you
my
can do that.
boy.
That's why they decided to take action.
You already
Well,
getting sued from the marijuana companies, cannabis companies.
Are already requiring people to be 21 years old to buy this product. I'm hearing a lot from store owners that are saying now they're going to be punished, even though they're already making sure kids aren't getting a hold of this and they're in business.
You know, our whole system is designed, we've developed for decades, our liquor control system that's controlled the voters when they voted in regard to marijuana, THC, when they voted, they specifically in that law has all the regulations that were defined there. The sale of this comes under none of that. So maybe some of them are requiring someone to be 21. We don't know that, and frankly, you don't know that. That's what they're telling you, but there's no regulation of that. Nor is there any way that the seller of this product knows what's really in it. There's no testing required. There's no regulation of that. So nobody knows for sure exactly what it is. No one knows for sure exactly whether it has been contaminated. We know I was not obviously in favor of the marijuana law that was passed by the people, but they passed it, and they passed it with a lot of guardrails, a lot of things. This has none of that. So that person who's telling you that very well maybe not selling it, checking the license, making sure the person's 21, but they can't check all those other things. They can't guarantee to anybody what's in this product. Can't guarantee it hasn't been adulterated beyond what we already know it has been.
So when hemp products are still legal, what is adulterated?
Well, adulterated could mean two things. I mean, it could mean, for example, what we've been talking about and what we talk about in our executive order, which is it's been fundamentally changed. It has become a new product. It does not really resemble the original product, only in name only. Very, very, very different.
Processing. It's been processed into
That's
something
what
else, not
we talk about
adulterated. It's
in
like
our executive order. Now, if we're talking
the
about
cannabis
purity,
process.
and there's no way to determine that this is pure, whether I like the law or not. The law in regard to marijuana, the state guarantees. We have inspectors who go out. They can tell you what lot that is. It's like a lot. Where my family was in the seed business, a lot of seed. You could tell, where that came from, where that seed come from, where is the origin, what's the purity. You do those things with products. With this, Lord knows who's, in some cases, you only know who's manufacturing it, let alone what's in it. So there's no guarantee. So it's a fundamentally different product.
In your remarks earlier, and even just now, you were relatively defensive of the regulated cannabis industry. But has the legislature's push to overhaul voter legalized cannabis law diluted this issue? Because the legislature has been trying to pair this issue with Delta 8 for almost 2 years now. I mean, since marijuana was legalized.
Well, I don't know of anybody, and certainly not this governor, who, after the voters voted by a big margin, says that we should go back and repeal that. That was not the will of the voters. I don't think that's what the legislature intends. Maybe I didn't fully understand your question.
Well, they've proposed things say this is a different issue. The legislature doesn't look at it like that, and.
Well,
they
I
say
can't,
that's
look,
the
first of all,
threat.
I can't speak for the legislature. I'm not going to do that. But the changes that are talked about in regard to the marijuana law, primarily we're talking about where the money goes. No one, I don't think, has said we should not have inspectors who go out to where the marijuana is grown. No one has said the marijuana people who are growing don't have to trace that
Cannabis.
and be able to prove where it's been at all points.
Cannabis.
No one is saying we should go back and eliminate the purity tests and contamination tests that are done in regard to marijuana. So that's what we're really talking about here. None of that is taking place here, but with marijuana, no one is saying do away with that. They might be arguing about where the money goes or other things, but not the basic purity, making sure the product is what it is sold to be, and that you know what the THC is.
I guess what I'm asking then, is it a failure of the legislature to tie the issues of marijuana and cannabis to intoxicating?
Look, the legislature, I don't speak for the legislature. I don't blame the legislature. I have a job to do. They have a job to do. My job
Everybody
today
got a job
is
to
to
do.
take action. That's what I'm doing.
Take action on your ass. Get his ass out of the office. Get out.
Well,
Wow. Why he keep picking up the nerdy
we're going to
stuff?
start by what's here.
You need to pop some of them
Knock
nerdy.
you off your feet. I mean, we know why this is being sold. I mean, we don't expect the agriculture people to check their common sense at the door when they go in. I mean, everybody knows what this stuff is. So.
Well, these are like easy, but it's kind of like, isn't there a gray area? What about tinctures of CBD? Things
Well,
like that?
we'll cross the gray area, I guess, when we get to it, but that's a pretty clear-cut area.
The
there.
gray area is already there. What you talking about?
Look, it's up to the legislature at that point. That's the way the law works. I can only do the part of this for 90 days. So. The health emergency can only be for 90 days.
So the Senate approved a bill.
So the
that
health
would
emergency's for
regulate
3 months.
Beverages similar to alcohol. How do you view that, since you're kind of showing that you think you have authority to kind of ban these products completely?
Well, I think if the legislature addresses it and does regulate it, that's a different issue. That's a fundamentally different issue. But you're asking me to assume a couple hypotheticals, I think. I'll see when the bill comes in front of me, what it does and when and if it comes in front of me.
You're saying if the legislature acts to regulate these products, you would consider signing it?
Depends on what the bill says. It's no different than any other bill. I'm not going to prejudge it until I see it. But, I've expressed, in the past, my concern about this issue, and I know members of the General Assembly are concerned about it as well. They've expressed their concern about it. So
What about pills?
I'm doing
right?
what I can do.
Nobody talking
This is
about
the action
pills.
I can take, and I'm taking
How
it.
many kids die from Tylenol, ibuprofen?
Look, I've made that very, very clear for legislation to be passed in regard to this product. But, there's several different ways the legislature can go. I'm not going to tell them what to do, but we have to have some control of this product.
See,
We
that's
can't
it.
have
They
a
want
situation
control, just
where
like
it's
the
legal
Department of
for people to
Cannabis
sell this to
control.
underage kids. We can't have this
It's a free country,
situation
but we want
continue where
control.
there is no limitation on the packaging. Marijuana, there's very strict packagage requirements.
Yes.
You cannot create a
And
product
gotta be
that looks
21 and up to get
like
into a
this.
dispensary.
That's what these people are doing. And they're making, and by the way, they're making an awful lot of money off of it if you look at the price on these things.
Since the voters approved recreational marijuana, have you tried it?
No?
Governor, why a flat out
Hey, I gotta
ban
put that
why
one
not
up.
other regulations such as age restrictions or
That nigga
them
he need to
to
try
marijuana
some weed.
dispensaries?
Somebody, let's go smoke out to stay out. Let's go
Moving
smoke out the
to do
governor's
some of the
office,
things
bro.
you talked about would take
Let's get
legislation. to
sleepy
do.
high, bro.
The Farm Act allows for mailing of these type of products.
Not these type of products.
Yes, you can.
Not these type of products.
Well-
It does hemp, but not intoxicating hemp.
Well, it's happening.
It's the same.
So-
Well, yes, a lot of things are happening, and that's why we're taking action in regard to this.
But does this do anything about the mail-in? Because right now, people are allowed to sell over the internet under 0.3%. Does this impact mail-in?
Well, this is not under 0.03%.
Sure, but it
Your
also,
your product, your hypothetical is not true. This product, if this was being mailed or something similar to it, it's not under that, clearly. It's not. They're selling it as hallucinogenic. That's what they're doing.
I know you said wait and see when it comes to Kratom, but I was contacted by a family who said they lost their loved one due to abuse of synthetic Kratom. That was after the pharmacy board's vote. What message do you have for families
Yeah.
saying that they are still losing their loved ones to
Yes.
Kratom?
We are going to take action in that. We want to make sure that the action that we take is correct and can be sustainable in
The
a
doctor
court of
back
law.
there don't even believe
Are you
herself
referring
like
to
that. Look,
natural Kratom and synthetic Kratom on your recommendation?
I'm not going to answer any more questions on Kratom today, okay?
We want to see these products properly disposed. We have procedures for prescription drugs. What do you want to see businesses do when it comes to getting these off the shelves by Tuesday? So they don't fall back into the hands of
massive sale, baby.
Look, we wrote this so that they could take it back to the manufacturer. We left them with that option. We didn't tell them they had to destroy it. If they want to destroy it, they can destroy it, or take it back to the manufacturer.
Can you speak to how the Ohio State Highway Patrol is going to respond starting on Tuesday if they find, errant Delta 8 THC at a gas station? What's the response going to look like? And are you asking for additional controls for
No,
an issue
no,
like this?
look, most people who sell this product are law-abiding citizens, and they do not want to be violating the law. Up until today, up until Tuesday, they can sell that product. I believe that once, it's like most laws, there's a deterrent effect, and people comply with the law, basically. So I expect people to comply with the law. The Agriculture Department will have people out, and we may have other law enforcement out as well. That will be up locally, but we're certainly going to start with the Department of Agriculture inspectors.
Governor, when do you plan to call the Ohio Reconstruction Commission, and do you plan to call it more than a couple of days before the end?
I was waiting for that question. I just thought,
Happy to oblige.
here, soon,
when is soon?
soon.
I feel like we do the soon conversation a lot.
Well, we know what the law is. It's going to have to occur this month. We know that, and so it will occur
Are
this
they going
month.
to meet more than once, or is it going to be?
Excuse me?
Are they going to meet more than once, or is it going to be like a Halloween soon?
Well, I still am hopeful. That's hopeful. Don't know. I'm not putting any odds on it. That something can be worked out. As you know, these things, if they get worked out, they don't usually get worked out in a public meeting. They get worked out before, and then there's a public meeting, and it gets legally taken care of. So just because,
Deliberation on where to put the Dayton Mental Hospital.
I'm sorry?
There's deliberation on where to put the state mental hospital in Dayton area. Have you guys decided on doing it at the Terra Arena site?
Well, that certainly is the preferred, at this point, the preferred site. That is not totally done yet, though. Okay?
Just to clarify on this, do you want the Delta 8 products gone, or do you just want them regulated? That kind of goes back to the legislative debate about whether we're going to put them in.
Well, let me answer it this way. I don't want the product sold to children. I think the public has spoken very clearly that when they're dealing with THC, they expect it to be regulated. They expect it to know what's in the product. They expect to make sure it is pure, and all of the above. So certainly, all the things that the voters voted for when they voted by 57% to legalize marijuana, I would expect to be dealing the same regulations with a product that is also THC and also can get you very, very, very high. So that's what I would expect. How they achieve that is, open to however they want to do it. But I think those are the minimum things that are expected. And that's not Mike DeWine speaking. That's what the voters voted for. They never voted to say every gas station or every convenience store that wants to can carry this stuff and sell it with no state regulation and can sell it to kids. They never voted for that. That's not what they voted for. They voted for just the opposite. So I'm saying it needs to come off the shelves. If the legislature wants to come back and regulate it and say it can't be sold to kids and it has to fit all the other criteria that marijuana has, then that's something different. I would sign that bill.
So there's gonna be, I know that obviously we're talking about the ones that are felonies, but are all Delta 8 and Delta 9 and Delta products going to be banned under this executive order? Vapes, things like that. Is that going to be THC drinks? Are those not allowed anymore either, or?
Liquid is covered under here as well. So, anybody else?
How frustrated are you that the lawmakers, due to their lack of action on this?
Oh, you're not going to get me to answer that.
Why not?
I'm not frustrated,
Are you sure?
but I needed to take action today, and that's what I did.
Is
Okay.
that why you did it at 2:30 in the middle of House and Senate session? Like the timing?
Are they in session? At this moment?
They were, yeah.
Okay, no, there wasn't. We said it because it worked with my calendar, frankly. So, all right, thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
So yeah, that was the press conference from yesterday. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Obviously, I know people are gonna have a field day with this. I know a lot of the business owners are probably, not happy about this, and I'm sure there'll be some lawsuits. There was a lawsuit that just came out from about 7 of the Ohio medical and recreational, I don't know if cultivators, processors, dispensaries, suing the DCC in the state of Ohio. I did just see somebody else is suing the governor for something else related to cannabis as well. So I'm sure this will, obviously he only has 90 days. It's an emergency. Obviously, people are still going to sell it because, again, you have companies that have spent money on creating businesses and getting these products in the stores on shelves, who've created a lifestyle for themselves now out of this industry. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I have also, I'm going to share this screen with y'all. So here is Office of the Governor staff contact list. Again, this is all public information. So if you want, you guys can pause it and, make these calls. You got the governor's hotline, the governor's main line. What's up, baby? Yeah, let me know. Mhm.